The West European Chaos 2046. After the plan agreement, all nations that have agreed on it started to get back on European soil. But first, let's go to Romania. They mistakenly took the wrong piece of Bulgaria and then decided to take the piece that was actually planned by them. But that made Bulgaria even more furious. And then they got it back and they went into a truce. But then, the worse it got for some countries, because someone was gonna gain independence in the middle of this huge chaos. And the answer was Montenegro. Immediately, so still attacking their neighbors. And then, immediately, Bosnia and Herzegovina gained back and got Sarajevo back again. Pulling Bosnia also out of the war, which they remained neutral for the rest of the war. While Italy tried to conquer it again via Croatia, but then Bosnia was ready for the attack, pulling them again in and out of the war. And then, finally, Italy started to get their hands off of Bosnia and Herzegovina. And then, another Balkan nation decided it would be time. And the answer was Croatia. Finally, getting into Italian land, they finally marched their way up inland. And take everything that belonged to them. Next up, it was a surprise attack from guess it, Slovenia. And accidentally, an Italian force was left in Bjelovar. But then the Croatians quickly got it from the province of Osijek. And the Italians were squeezed out of Croatia. Next up, Germany. It has been a lot of chaos in the main Western European countries: France, Germany, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands. And finally, it is time for the Germans to regain their land, what they have lost since this huge chaos. But first, it was France's turn. Starting in Tarbes, they were ready for the attack. Taking Pau, Auch, and then Mont-de-Marsan and Agen, and taking one of the key cities of Bordeaux. And then also pulling Andorra out of France. And same goes for Italy. And then another key city was taken, Montpellier, and then taking Toulouse, and Foix was the last city to fall from Andorran forces. And then, coming into Saarland, starting to take Lyon and more, even the city of Gap, and key cities of Nice and Toulon, pushed Monaco out of France. They were starting to attack Dijon with bombing raids flying over them. And then Switzerland was ready for an attack on Saarland, starting in Lausanne through Genève. And then also the French were about to push Saarland out of its territory. And so also they pushed Namur and the UK out of their land. And starting a huge offensive on Antwerp, taking back Brittany, securing them out of the land, taking Caen and more cities. Even Versailles and Paris were liberated. The West Flemish were also seeing rapid success fly by, and then a massive attack on Namur was made, and so bombing raids over Bar-le-Duc, Nancy, Strasbourg, and Metz were made. First up taking Epinal, and then taking back. And France used heavy bombing raids over Saarland. Next up, Germany. Germany had enough of all that chaos happening in its country and decided to take Saarbrücken, or the Saarland. But first, starting in Mainz, then circling in Cologne, Düsseldorf, Dortmund, Bielefeld, Münster, Oldenburg, Bremen, Hanover, Kassel, Frankfurt am Main, and Würzburg. Going into Erfurt and Magdeburg. Then into the key city of Hamburg, and then provinces of Lübeck, Schwerin, and Kiel. Then a huge attack into Poland, taking back Berlin, Dresden, Halle, Leipzig, Potsdam, Neubrandenburg, and Rostock. Now, the northern half of Germany has been liberated. Now, it was time for the south. Starting in Stuttgart, Nuremberg, and Karlsruhe, up to Freiburg, Ulm, and Augsburg, pulling Portugal and some Czechoslovak forces out of Germany. Started attacking Liechtenstein in Munich, taking a huge offense, and then pulling everyone out of Germany. A successful win for the Germans. But then, a huge aggressor, Saarland, and instantly took it. Because they were maybe about to get back into German territory, but successfully they didn't. Next up, Luxembourg broke away from Belgian-Luxembourg, successfully ending the unification of the Luxembourg. And then Belgium made a successful landing together with the British at Bruges, but first starting in Newport, De Haan, Ostend, Middelkerke, De Panne, Bredene, Blankenberge, and all the beaches of Belgium, successfully going into Bruges, Zonnebeke, and other cities, successfully capturing West Flanders. Then bombing raids over Ghent started, and then attacking Mons, and then starting a heavy attack on Namur, and then successfully taking Arlon and Luxembourg with it, and then successfully capturing Brussels and ending Antwerpian rule. And then Flanders starts to break free in Antwerp, but then a huge attack via Brussels kicks them out of the war. But then they strike again, meaning another breakup of Belgium would be starting to happen. Now, with most countries now successfully back, what will happen to the chaos? Because the chaos almost ends successfully with countries turning back. But you'll have to find out in the next part.